We were all singing with
look,
you.
God put this together for somebody. Somebody's, lots of bodies.
Amen.
Lots of he bodies and she bodies and little bodies and big bodies and all bodies and pretty bodies. Everybody. God put this deal together for you.
Amen.
There we saw Jesus in a vision. Right after that, the wonderful man of God, Brother William Branham, came to town. A lot of people misunderstand him, but forget that. He was used of God.
Wonderful.
And I respect that. He came, and I was a nice guy. I wouldn't go because I heard that he wasn't just exactly right. God bless this little lady.
Yes, that idea came through my head. No.
Why did you leave me?
Because I was searching too, you remember.
Yeah. We had been to India.
I mean, you failed in India, if you remember. I didn't, but you
Oh, come on.
You went to change India. I went to change your sheets and to feed you and to minister to you, and I succeeded. I did it royally. Don't you think I did?
You did terrific.
But when we came back, I was hungry and I was searching too.
Yeah, see, we'd been there as missionaries, and we failed.
Yeah.
We failed. Excuse me. You say you didn't fail.
Well, I had a new life coming up too. Let me say this about when Jesus appeared to T.L. I have to throw this in because there's women out there that feel just like I do, and there's men out there. You know, a lot of men like me.
Oh,
yeah,
they
really do.
I do.
I like you.
Yeah, I'm really a man's woman. But when Jesus appeared to him, and here I had been fasting and praying as much as he had, and I had the two babies. And the T.L. Osborn of that epoch, you know, he just wasn't too involved in housework and babies and all that. He was reserved for the ministry, where I could be in the ministry and do all this.
I see.
You see, you understand this,
yes,
don't you?
yes.
He hasn't learned that dishwashing is ministry.
Yes, and he's learned. He ministers to the minister also. But see, when he tells me that Jesus appeared and all that Jesus told him, and I'm thrilled because this is wonderful. But I'm thinking, two will be sleeping in a bed. One will be taken, the other left behind, and you know who was left behind. I didn't see him. So I continued my search for another 2 weeks, and he'd keep saying, honey, you got to eat. You got to eat. Well, he never told me before you got to eat. He said, you got to fast. I kept on fasting and kept on praying until the Lord talked to me. That's why, see, I go with T.L. I go before T.L. I go with T.L. I go after T.L. But it was a choice for me. To this day, he hasn't formally invited me to go with him.
Really?
No, I chose to go.
Okay, now, you decided to go visit. And I remember when Brother Branham's ministry began
So
to
I was
rise.
hungry too, and see, they were telling what was happening down there.
We were all told not
Yes.
to go to his meeting because he was not approved by my denomination.
I know.
Now, but you went against the grain.
I did.
And did you go by yourself?
I
the
went
first
by
time?
myself with
And
an 85-year-old woman in our church.
But what was awful, we were the host pastors of the Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Montana district, and all the preachers had come to our church, the headquarters church. We were good. We were the presbyters. I was the secretary of district. They was going to lower the voting age to make me superintendent.
Really?
I was good. But I had to be among the club.
The plugs. That's the truth. More truth than poetry there. Good for you.
To work. So, excuse me for butting in, honey.
Well, that was good.
But they had sent us to India, and we had come back failures. And we knew if we could have miracles, those masses, that's what they needed. And we didn't know how. And here was a man in town doing it.
Daisy.
And Daisy said, hey, you can stay at this outfit if you want to. I'm going.
What was that first meeting like? What did you see at
Portland,
that
Oregon.
Branham meeting?
I went with this old woman, 85 years old. That still seems old to me, 85, but it may not be later on, but it still seems old. And she was the only person I could interest in going with me. So she went with me, and when we got to the auditorium, of course, there were thousands of people in the street, and you know, Oregon, If it's not raining, it's gonna.
Yes.
And it was raining, and everybody had their umbrellas, but they were singing these old hymns. And they were singing Where the Healing Waters Flow, and The Great Physician, and Only Believe, and all those old songs. They were singing them. And so we were worshiping just outside that auditorium, and you know, it was wonderful. I had never felt anything like it in my life. I mean, this was a better feeling than I had ever had since I got saved. And we went in. When they opened the doors, they only left the doors open for about 40 minutes. We surged in. And of course, I'm a little more aggressive in a situation like that. You know how women are at sales. Well, I was going to get a good seat. So I pushed in, and we got pretty good seats just right up from the platform where I could see right down everything that happened. I was just right up from Brother Branham, just on the first gallery. It was perfect. And I tell you, he preached that night. And his subject was, where does sickness come from? Well, you know, it seemed kind of a foolish question. Everybody knows you get it. I mean, I got mumps and gave it to everybody in the family. I got measles and passed it around. You get chicken pox and you know, you're generous. Everybody catches something. So you catch it. It's bacteria. It's germs. I mean, everybody knew that. But where does sickness come from? And he started in Genesis and told where disease comes from. It's the first time in my life I ever heard that Satan had anything to do with disease. And how it was the devil and the fall of the human race that caused sin and sickness to enter the human race. And then he takes us all the way to Calvary and through redemption. I had never heard it in my life. And of course, I got a good memory. And I'm chalking all this up and I'm being transformed. And he's back there. He's kind of traditional. And he's very ethical and polite.
T.L. now.
Yes, this man here. But I went home. And he got home at the same time and got the children were already in bed. And I said, honey, I'm going to put on some tea. I want to tell you what happened. And I preached the whole sermon to T.L. He sat there and cried, and it made sense to him. Now, you can tell. It transformed his life.
We went the next night, and that's the second vision. I saw Jesus in that man.
Really?
And I found out Jesus works through people. I saw Jesus in that man. And everything that he did...
See, this is the progression that everybody has to do. First, it's a revelation of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you see Jesus in people.
Yeah. And then everybody was concerned about his gift. You know, he had a very remarkable gift. I don't want to go into that. But I wasn't attracted to the gift. What I was attracted, everything that he was doing seemed like it pointed me right to the Word of God. 10,000 voices whirled over my head, said, you can do that, you can do that. That's what Peter did. That's what Paul did it. That's what the Bible says. That proves the Bible works today. Wow! I saw Jesus in a man. Well, then we went home and we said, hey, let's make a pact. We sat down at that table again. We said, we're going to take that book and we're going to read the Gospels as though we never read it before in our lives.
Okay.
So here a woman had come in. He keeps saying he saw Jesus in a man, but a woman had preached, and Jesus came to him as a result of this woman.
Yeah.
And then a man came demonstrating.
To this
So
woman.
here was a woman and
so
a man
woman
already.
told me that.
Do you know what I get out of this that I think we're going to skip over, but we shouldn't? If you had not broken out of that mold,
Oh, Jen.
how many people
true.
would be in hell today
Jen.
Wonderful.
around the world?
Yes.
true.
If you hadn't said, it doesn't matter what my denomination, it doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter whether they say I can go or not. I will see Jesus.
Amen.
And you said that and did it.
Yep.
And there are millions and millions and millions healed and in heaven today. That wouldn't be.
That's true.
thank God.
That's true.
If you
And in
hadn't
following
broken out of
Christ,
that.
everybody comes to that point.
You have to break out of a mold. Are you doing it
Boy,
for
that's
man?
That's it.
Well, that's true.
Are you doing it for Jesus?
Oh, boy.
In or out of the club.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we read that. And that's when we began to discover the wonderful promises of Jesus that are so simple. So simple.
Like?
We had a third vision. We saw Jesus in His Word.
In the Word.
Yeah, see, we decided to read this like we'd never heard it in our life. Forget Sunday school, forget all we'd heard.
Yeah.
Start fresh.
And our pledge was, I forgot to say, we said, and everything Jesus tells us to do, let's do it.
Oh, yes.
And everything Jesus said he'll do, let's expect him to do it.
Yes.
We found Jesus in the
Oh.
Word. So then we went to the newspaper and the radio, no TV at that time, and we made big announcements.
We went
and everybody
public.
thought we were fools, and thought we were audacious. We told them to come. We were convinced. And I'll tell you, that old Montevilla Tabernacle was packed
He was
out.
swaying.
What
It
did you
was
say?
standing around the edge.
That we're
Come.
Oh,
bring
come
your
and
sick,
bring
bring
the
your
blind, the
cripples,
deaf,
bring the blind.
bring the-
Jesus is at Montevilla Tabernacle.
Oh, boy. And I tell you, when it was over,
Another one of those things.
we lined them up and did what this did and what that guy did.
That's right.
Yes.
And we found out we had our fourth vision.
And it worked.
We discovered
And it worked
Jesus
in
in
us.
us.
He worked.
And we've been letting him work in
And
us
we
ever
each
since.
took a line.
Oh, yeah.
He
Oh,
took
yeah.
a line and I
Oh,
took
yeah.
a line.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't just stand there and look at him.
You found he could work through women as well as men.
Yes.
Oh, I get excited about
Oh,
that.
Lord.
Paul and Jim, that's the special music working. That's right. Hallelujah.